Hey there, good people of YouTube. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Today I'm going to cover the #1 most popular swing trade. For swing traders, this is their bread and butter go-to. It is the classic earnings play. I'm going to explain why this is a potentially profitable scenario. I'm going to cover how to track your upcoming earnings events, as well as at the end, I'm going to give you my #1 strategy for playing earnings calls. Before I begin, hit the like for me, family. Say hi in the comment section. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is for educational purposes only. And there are scammers who will get back to everybody before I even answer the first person. They are trying to get you guys to DM them on WhatsApp, Telegram, and Instagram. It's not me. All right, so the reason earnings plays have a higher potential for profitability is because of something called implied volatility. Now, don't check out. I'm going to make this super easy to understand. Implied volatility is an options term, and it's one that is used to calculate basically the rise and the increase in the call and put buying options that precede an earnings announcement. So basically, because everybody's expecting a change in the stock, people are buying calls or puts more right before an earnings report. Options work best in a more liquid environment, and an earnings call can draw interest because people are expecting a big move in the stock. This implied volatility is typically greatest around things like a product launch, like maybe Apple's coming out with their bigger, better phone, or an earnings event. More people will buy options ahead of these big events. But what happens after the big event? Well, this is the classic buy the rumor, sell the news more often. Unless the big event truly brings an unexpected outcome, the actual news, more often than not, is the beginning of all of the interest falling off, or basically expectations dropping, because the move to the upside has more than likely already occurred. Profit taking begins. Basically, it's party over and most people take their money and they go home. I'm going to cover the best way to play earnings, but first, how do you keep track of upcoming earnings? Well, I'm going to show you how I do it on the MooMoo app. It's very easy there. So basically, when you launch the app, the default screen takes you to their watch list page. Their watch list page is also selectable by hitting the heart icon on the bottom left. You simply go over one tab from the bottom left to the right and you select the Markets tab. This brings up the screen with the earnings reports calendar. You want to select the calendar, and this allows you to see every company that has an earnings report that's coming out in a list mode for that day. It will default to only show you 5 companies on each daily view, but if you want to see all the companies that are having earnings on that day, you simply go to the bottom of the 5th one where it says show all. This will give you every company reporting on that day. You can also tap the calendar icon on the right of the companies. This allows you to add to your phone's calendar a reminder about that upcoming earnings. That right there is perhaps the single most important functionality of the app in my use, because I find the companies I'm interested in and I put a reminder about 2 weeks and a couple days out of the earnings call, and it just pops up and reminds me to go to it so I don't miss it. You can scroll up to see the next couple days, or simply place your finger on the horizontal day and date above, slide it forward or backwards, and you find the date you want, you tap on it, and it gives you all the companies that are filing earnings on that day. If you select the individual companies, it's going to take you to the trade screen and the chart for that stock. Back in the calendar screen, at the time and day of the earnings call, you can tap on the company's icon when it says live, and you can watch a video of the earnings call that's in progress. If you're not able to catch it when it's live, then after the event, you can watch by selecting the video icon that's displayed to the right of the company's name. I really like that benefit because when you're able to watch the video, right beneath it, there's a chat section where you can interact with all the others in the MooMoo community about what's going on live in the earnings call or afterwards. I'm going to be in the chat live for the upcoming earning plays that I bring to you guys. By selecting the filter tab in the upper right, you can narrow down the companies that you want to look at. This allows you to have more specific parameters and just look at specific companies. If you want to see it in an actual calendar mode, there's a little icon on the top right to the left of the filter icon. It's a box with an arrow, and this will flip it from a list view to a horizontal full month calendar view. There is some really cool functionality there. MooMoo's done a great job, in my opinion, by providing earnings info compared to other competitors and other exchanges and apps that I've used. Like Fidelity, their earnings is great, but it's not mobile friendly. It's basically built more for a desktop only view. I always have a reason for highlighting something on this page, and so my game plan moving forward is to bring a regular earnings play to you guys consistently that we can do together. That's going to be a new segment on my show moving forward. If you don't have the MooMoo app, it's an ideal time to get it. Check the top pinned comment or the description of this video for a link to MooMoo. That link is for an exclusive limited time offer from MooMoo, which happens to be their best offer to date. And the best part of the offer is that with just a deposit of $100, you can get 10 free stock. That's amazing. I think when I first started, there was no stock, and some of the apps I'm on, I got a stock, 10 stock. And if you go with their whole promotion, you can actually get up to 13 stocks for depositing more money. With each stock, there is a chance to spin for a stock valued at over $2,000 a share. So basically what you're going to get is free cash. You can also find me on the MooMoo app under Stocks with Josh, where I post trade ideas and I chat with guys about the current trades. So in conclusion, because of the implied volatility in earnings, there is a higher risk and thereby a higher potential for rewards or even larger losses if you don't have a good plan. So is there a way to play earnings more strategically or conservatively and still make some money? Well, I'm going to give you guys my number one strategy for playing earnings. But first, when playing earnings, I want to remind you guys that you still have to look at the charts. You still have to consider what the overall trend in the market is. What are the market conditions? So no matter what a company does, if the market if it's a hot red day, then you have to reconsider your strategy. So because no matter what your buy, sell, or your take profit strategy is, if you guess the wrong direction, you're going to lose money. But if you guess the direction correctly, the number one way to make gains on earnings consistently is to simply buy the stock or option well before the earnings report to capitalize on the rising interest of the coming earnings report. That is the most simplest, most tried and true method. This would look like buying it 1 to 2 weeks out. And if you guess the direction correctly, you would pick up all the rising interest as you get closer to the earnings report date. And if you were bullish on the stock, you could sell half or maybe 3/4 of your position right before the release of the earnings, and you could hold half or 1/4 of your position for an extra profit, or if the earnings do not come out the way you think, it would just be a break even if the earnings were to disappoint. It is just that simple. I'm going to do a segment on this show that focuses regularly on an upcoming earnings play. I'm super excited about bringing this to you guys. If you don't want to miss out, then make sure that you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. Say hi in the comments section and let me know if you guys have your eye on any upcoming earnings play and why. And we're going to chat some more there about it. Peace and blessings, my friends. I see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.